Spielberg, Cameron, Michael Bay, the masters of spectacle have never intended you to watch their movies on a small screen. Jurassic Park, Terminator, Transformers, they were all built for the biggest canvases possible. And for the better part of 15 years, I've been trying to bring home that magic of the cinema. And with the BenQ W2720i, I may have finally done it. The BenQ W2720i isn't my first projector either. I've been trying to find that experience on a budget since I was in high school. I've been down every bad path on the projector journey. The cheap 4K Amazon boxes that looked worse than VHS. The secondhand monster CRT projectors that were so bad to program and hard to set up that have multiple electric shock wounds. Even other projectors under $3,500 have promised a cinema feeling, but were washed out and hard to use. My point is that finding the right projector for the right price has been difficult to say the least, and the BenQ W2720i looks to change that. Now, I want to say that while BenQ has sent me this to review, my thoughts are my own, and with this review, I'll be putting the BenQ's claims up against my current projector, the Xgimi Horizon Ultra. So it won't be just my thoughts that you'll be hearing, you'll be able to see how it compares to other projectors on the market. Right on the box, BenQ claims that it will reproduce cinematic color accuracy, and that's a big claim. Open the box, and instantly it feels like a premium kit straight away. A solid build, matte black finish, a slick white backlit remote, and Google certified Android stick. But what sets this projector apart from other projectors in the market is the personal calibration color report. BenQ's color scientists have already tuned it to cinematic perfection. And what does that mean? Well, it means that you're getting a cinema-grade color the way that Cameron or Spielberg intended, right out of the box. But why does that matter? Well, with most projectors these days, the color is never perfect. I'm always trying to match colors of my TV or use tools to get the accuracy, or even sometimes trying to base it on how I remember the movie to look. So having BenQ's scientists and expert tools do that for me really shows what BenQ is trying to achieve with this W2720i. And it's the straight out of the box cinema experience. Let's get down to the specs. This thing is loaded. It's got a 4K UHD with 8.3 million pixels, an LED light engine that lasts up to 30,000 hours. And that's about 1,500 movies. So even if you watched a movie a day, that LED will last you more than 4 years. It's got a 2,500 ASNI lumens, so that means you won't need a total blackout when you're watching this. It's got HDR10+, HLG, and BenQ's HDR Pro, which claims to have a much deeper contrast. It's got cinematic color with 90% DCI P3, which is the same white gamut used in projectors you find in your local cinema. It's got dual HDMI 2.1 ports with one eARC for your Atmos sound or surround sound needs, but honestly, I could say this thing has the heart of the ocean inside of it. It wouldn't matter. What really matters is how it plays and how it looks. So once you've gone through the 3-step setup process, you'll start either streaming content through the dongle or connect a 4K Ultra HD media player like an Xbox, a PlayStation 5, or just a standalone unit to watch movies at their highest quality. And for this review, that's exactly what I did. Now, I want to make it clear that what I'm comparing this projector to is other projectors we see at cinemas, not TVs, because TVs are calibrated to a different way. They don't try to give you that cinema experience. They, for the most part, have a glossy screen, they make blacks blacker than they need to be, and they oversaturate colors. And even some of them have that weird soap opera effect that makes movies look like they're sped up to 60 frames a second. It's disgusting, and if you have it on your TV, look to change it. For this review, I'm comparing it to what it's like being in the cinema and how movies look from cinema to home. So let's get into it. Let's talk about our first movie test. First, I threw on Superman, and those opening credits really give you a sense of the color of this thing can produce. Metropolis was bright, Superman's suit beamed red and blue, and straight away I could see what the W2720i could achieve. I then switched to F1 with Brad Pitt, and I tried out BenQ's HDR Pro. The opening sequence looked incredible. Just look at those colors. If you want to push it further, fire up Avatar: The Way of the Water. The glowing oceans will make your jaw drop, and the fire in the final scenes is literally breathtaking. Crystal clear clarity and colors that pop, and when you pair it with a cinema screen or even a white wall, you are getting closer and closer to that cinema experience. One thing I love about projectors that you don't get with TVs is that matte finish. The second that you have your movie hit that non-reflective surface, you instantly get that magic you get in the cinema. It's one absolutely vital step that separates projectors from TVs. BenQ claims that the embedded automatic optimization with AI Cinema Mode can optimize your screen based on the room. So that means if you leave a room door open, the screen will adjust. So if you don't have the darkest space, well, this thing will sort it out for you. And I tried it in my cinema with the door open, and while it did lose some clarity and brightness, it was still super watchable, and the picture was still incredible. The BenQ W2720i also offers filmmaker mode, so that means you'll be able to watch movies the way they're meant to be seen in 24 frames per second. Finally, a projector that gets movie nerds like me and gives you exactly what you're after from a projector. But what about gaming? Maybe you don't want to watch a movie. If you throw a PS5 on this thing on a 120-inch screen, it will blow you away. Spider-Man 2 has never looked so good. Seeing it in 4K at 60 frames a second on such a big screen is unbelievable. I didn't find any lag on the screen or screen tearing. It was just super fun to play it at this size. So what about streaming? Well, the projector comes with an Android TV dongle and it hides away at its own slot. So no ugly dongles hanging out the side, no weird cabling, no secondary unit trying to make you play Netflix while you already have all these other apps on the claimed Android TV. Looking at you, Xgimi. This thing comes with Netflix, Disney+, Prime, YouTube, all native to its own. And you can even hit the mic button on the remote and say, play Jurassic Park, and in 3 seconds, you'll have T-Rexes stomping through your cinema. So sound-wise, yes, it comes with a 5-watt speaker, but honestly, come on, if you're buying this thing and you're a movie fan, you have to plug it in to either a soundbar, 5.1 surround, 7.1 surround, whatever you have in this room. Anything will give you a better sound than what this 5-watt speaker gives you. But with that in mind, it still gives you a nice, clear sound. But I can't recommend enough. If you're going this far to buy a projector, you have to get some good speakers. What about fan noise? Well, I found that it was barely noticeable, and even during the quietest dialogue, I could not hear it. So how does it compare to the Xgimi Horizon Ultra? Keep in mind I've had the Xgimi for about 6 months. It's pretty incredible, I do love it, but I really wanted to give this projector a run for its money and give this a chance to compare to something on the market at about the same entry-level price. When I turn on my Xgimi, I always find that the Android TV that's built into the device tends to lag, and even with some that's closing on their own. It does normally fix itself up with the unit being on for about 5 minutes or so, but the BenQ doesn't have that. It's just fast and smooth straight off the bat. So with the picture, the BenQ tends to be brighter, and that's due to the Xgimi being 200 lumens less than the BenQ. The Xgimi has always been slightly blurry too, and I found myself always using the focus function on the remote, but even with that, I could still notice it. It made me actually question if my eyes were slightly out of focus themselves, and I did have an eye check, but I found it to just be the projector and nothing else, had that issue. But the BenQ again was clear and sharp. And what about color? Well, the BenQ knocked the Xgimi out of the park again when it came down to color and contrast. Just look at the difference here. The BenQ appears to be much closer to the original image when compared to a still from the film, whereas the Xgimi has a little bit of a washed out feel to it. The colors aren't as bright, the contrast isn't as dark. And one thing that the Xgimi has over the BenQ is that it has a functioning door that opens and closes in front of the projector's lens when you turn it on and off. And that's something that the BenQ doesn't have. It only has this small lens cover that can be difficult to remove and put back on. So what are the pros and cons of the BenQ? Well, look, it's got true 4K, it's got the blockbuster ready color accuracy, it's got the LED that will last you a really long time, and of course the AI Cinema for idiot proof setup. And it's a real projector with movie nerds in mind, and I really tried to find flaws in it and I couldn't. But with that in mind, the cons I guess are the flimsy lens cap And I did find that in bright rooms, the HDR highlights can lose a bit of punch. But there really aren't many flaws of the BenQ W2720i. It's almost flawless. And if you watch this thing in a cinema, how it's meant to be seen in a cinema room, honestly, you won't find any issues. And for the price that it's set at, with about $3,299 from the website, you're going to be blown away. So after years of trial and error, this is the projector that finally delivers. The BenQ W2720i balances color accuracy and convenience in a way that feels made for blockbuster fans and movie nerds like me. Its sleek black design looks at home in any living room or dedicated cinema space, and its performance backs it up. I've watched Superman, Avatar: Way of the Water, Jurassic Park, F1, and Top Gun Maverick on it, and every time it felt like the cinema had moved into my house. So if you're going to pick up this thing, what's the first movie that you would watch on the BenQ W2720i? Drop it in the comments below, and if you're ready to bring Bay, Spielberg, and Cameron home, I have dropped links below for the latest deals. And until next time, I'll catch you nerds at the movies.